Nobody ever told me no when I asked for something. As soon as I batted my eyelashes and smiled sweetly, I got everything I wanted. Because of my beauty, everyone forgave me everything. Until one incident happened. Hi, I'm Vicky, and this is my story. It's hard to believe me and my brother, Woody, are twins. We are too different. I even like to joke that he got all the nerdiness, leaving all the beauty to me. We were never really close, and one day, Woody even started holding a grudge against me. We were preparing for the arrival of guests, and Mom dressed me up in a new dress. Oh, Vicky, you look just like a porcelain doll. Of course, I wanted to show off my new outfit, so instead of waiting for the arrival of the guests in my room, I secretly crawled through a hole in the fence and went to my friend who lived next door. We got carried away playing. I lost track of time and only came to my senses when I heard Woody's voice. Vicky, why are you here? The guest came a long time ago. Everyone is looking for you. As we were walking back, my dress got caught on a nail and tore. I was afraid I would get in trouble and decided to blame everything on my brother. It was easy. All I had to do was make a sad face and pout. Woody was so rough while dragging me home that I fell and tore my dress. Mom and Dad got angry with my brother. They started to comfort me and promised to buy me a bunch of new dresses. Since then, my brother was always the one getting punished, even if we caused trouble together, while I went shopping. The next day, my mom took me out shopping just like they promised. I spun in front of the mirrors and felt like a real princess. All of a sudden, I noticed an unusual man come up to my parents and introduce himself as a modeling agent. Our children's fashion magazine is looking for new models. Come to the casting. Your girl has every chance of becoming a new star of our agency with such looks. That's how my modeling career began. Photo shoots, contests, fashion shows, it all went to my head. My parents idolized me, and all the chores that used to be shared between me and Woody fell squarely on my brother's shoulders. Of course, that made him even angrier with me, and we stopped talking altogether. But I didn't care about it at all because I was a star. At school, everyone was fighting for my attention, so I easily got all the good marks, almost without studying. All I had to do was bat my eyelashes and ask some nerd to do everything for me. But one day, I got paired up with the only person who could compete with my brother for the title of the biggest bore during chemistry class, Bob Peters. Ugh. Don't even think that I'll do all the work for you. This trick won't work with me. Now watch and learn. He started waving test tubes in front of me and explaining something, like he was some sort of professor. I could easily do everything myself. I wasn't stupid. I took several flasks and poured all the contents into one large test tube. The liquid bubbled and splashed in my face, and the office got filled with acrid smoke. I got so scared that I even screamed. The teacher rushed to us and checked if I was okay. He held out his handkerchief so that I would wipe the last of the reagents off my face, and ran to open the windows to air out the room. What have you done, you empty-headed doll? We're going to get Fs now. I don't give a damn about grades. I got everything I want without them. I threw down the handkerchief and went to wash up in the bathroom. Dumb chemistry ruined my makeup. I cleaned myself up and went to the math class. As usual, I was texting my friends and didn't listen to the new topic, except my chin itched a lot, and my forehead, and my eyes. What was it? Was I allergic to my new makeup? The teacher asked me to come to the blackboard. He wanted to see how well I had understood the new topic, even though I didn't know anything. I got ready to make a cute face and get a good mark like usual, but the teacher just stared at me stunned. Vicky, what happened to you? What was he talking about? I looked at my classmates and felt even more confused. They were giggling and staring at me. The itching on my face got stronger. I touched my skin and realized that it was peeling. I rushed to a mirror and couldn't believe my eyes. What had happened to my beautiful face? It was red and covered with ugly blisters. I sobbed and locked myself in the bathroom. No one could see me like that. It turned out that the teacher had called my parents. My mom immediately came to pick me up and gave me her scarf to cover my face. After that, she brought me to a hospital. A doctor examined me and told us it was a serious chemical burn. Mom grabbed her head and I didn't believe it, but everything was fine. I even did my makeup after washing my face with ordinary water. That's exactly what you shouldn't have done. The water reacted to the acid that had splashed on you and you got burned. They applied some kind of ointment to my face and bandaged my head. I didn't really want anyone to see me looking like a mummy, so I decided to lock myself in my room for a couple days until everything had healed. I was lying on the bed and choosing a prom dress on my laptop when Woody appeared in the doorway with a tray of sweets. I know we don't get along very well, but I want to be there for you. Let's eat sweets and watch a movie together like we used to. I don't need your pity. In a couple of days, I'll get better and be prettier than everyone else again, and you'll still be a nerd and a loser. Woody threw the tray on the floor, ran out of the room. He probably went to study for his entrance exams again. You see, he had decided to go to a medical college, and I went to my modeling agency for a fitting in the morning. But instead of the usual enthusiastic faces, I was met with sidelong glances. I know I look a little weird, but I'll be fine very soon. I'm sorry, Vicky, but we have a contract with a major brand and expensive filming ahead. I can't take such a risk. The agency broke the contract with me and pointed me to the door. I'd never felt so insulted in my life. I was terribly upset and went to a cafe to cheer myself up with my favorite treat. I got in line behind a man in funny thick glasses, and you know what? That guy stole my last favorite cake. Hey, mister, I saw that cake first. The man looked at me bewildered, and I tried to use my angelic voice to get what I wanted, but he didn't even listen to me. What a rude young girl. In my day, we respected our elders. He took his cake and sat down in my favorite seat by the window. That completely infuriated me. I walked past the table and accidentally bumped into the man. He jerked and spilled coffee on himself. I laughed and went home. That little revenge cheered me up a little. In the hallway, I heard Mom talking to someone on the phone. When I heard my mom, I hid around the corner and began to eavesdrop. Mom sighed sadly, hung up the phone, and turned to Dad. The test results are ready. Vicky's burns are worse than we'd hoped. She will have to spend the next 6 months in bandages and might need plastic surgery in the future. In any case, she can forget about being a model now. I burst into tears and ran into my room. I didn't want to believe it. I unwrapped the bandages and stared at my reflection. An ugly version of myself was looking back at me. I will be as beautiful as I used to be. Instead of the medical ointment, I put on a thick layer of makeup. Then I also put on sunglasses, a wide-brimmed hat, and went wherever my eyes led me. Before I knew it, I had come to the school park. Bob was sitting on a bench, looking through a chemistry textbook. The last person I wanted to see. I quickly turned in the opposite direction, but he had already noticed me. He slammed the textbook shut and ran up to me. You made me fail the final test, and now you're just on a walk without a care in the world? But of course, you don't even have to make an effort. They'll give you everything for your face. Meanwhile, I may not get into college because of you. This was the last straw for me. I tore off my hat and glasses and smeared my makeup. Are you happy now? If it hadn't been for your stubbornness, I would still be beautiful, and we wouldn't have failed the test. Bob's face immediately changed. I couldn't bear to see the pity in his eyes and ran home. My worried parents were already waiting for me there. Honey, we know you heard our talk. We're so sorry. You know what? Since I can't be a model anymore, I'll go to a medical college like Woody. Of course, I hadn't been preparing for the exams like my brother, and I didn't have the necessary knowledge. But my parents were so proud of me that Dad promised to take care of everything and pay the right people so that I would get accepted. All I had to do was come to the exam and pretend like I had been working hard. So I did that. Without feeling any shame, I spent the whole time allotted for the exam doodling on a piece of paper. And when I came to the professor's table to hand in my work, another man walked into the classroom. I wanted to sink through the floor. It was the man I'd argued in the cafe with. I tried to look away, but he still recognized me and without hiding his contempt started asking me additional questions I was not in any way ready for. No, young lady, college isn't for you. You should cope with the school program first. Of course, they didn't accept me after that. I told my parents everything, frustrated. Dad promised to deal with everything and had a long argument with someone over the phone, but in the end, he exhaled dejectedly and looked down. That man turned out to be the professor in charge of the department. I'm sorry, Vicky, but I couldn't make him change his mind. I felt absolutely dejected. Before that, I'd always easily gotten my way. And after the news that Woody had gotten into college because he was smart and had worked hard, I felt even more down. I stopped leaving my room and played on my laptop for days on end. Nothing interested me anymore. I was lying in bed as usual when Woody knocked on the door. Have you come to pity me again? Stop being so snarky and listen to me for once. I know that Mr. Brown failed you on the exam. He's my anatomy professor. I told him your story and convinced him to give you another chance on one condition. I will teach you myself. Now decide, are you interested in medicine and are you ready to prove that you are worth something? I listened to my brother amazed. I'd never even thought about how hard he had to work for everything. Despite that, he'd still grown up to be sympathetic and kind. And he was also the only one who believed I could achieve whatever I wanted without relying on my looks. I've always envied you. You're so smart, and your friends don't just like you because of your looks or so-called success. I had nothing but a pretty face, and now I've lost that too. We hugged, and my brother said that he had never thought I was just an empty-headed doll, or he wouldn't have vouched for me. So he began to tutor me. Admittedly, it was very hard at first, but I quickly got used to the rhythm of it all, and the first results were not long in coming. I realized how selfish I had been. I decided to call Bob to apologize and find out if he'd managed to get into his dream college. I'm really glad to hear that from you, Vicky. I didn't have enough points and had to take the entrance exams like everyone else, but now I'm going to get a grant. I also boasted about my successes and told him that I was preparing for entrance exams to a medical college. I expected him to make fun of me, but Bob offered to help me prepare instead. Of course I agreed. With such smart teachers, I could definitely do it. On the day of the exam, I was terribly worried. I'd never relied on my brain alone before. Professor Brown greeted me without much enthusiasm. I'm sorry about that stupid incident in the cafe and for trying to cheat to get into college. A future doctor cannot be so irresponsible, but I'm grateful for the second chance. The professor's face was still stern, but I felt like he had accepted my apology. And most importantly, I successfully passed the exam and became a student. I immediately shared the good news with Bob. It's a shame I won't be able to attend the lectures with the others because of the bandages for a long time. I'll have to only come to take the exams. Bob was surprised and promised to talk to his father so that he could suggest options for faster rehabilitation. He was a plastic surgeon. Soon enough, Woody and I had arrived at the clinic where Bob and his father were already waiting for us. I walked into the office and the boys stayed to wait for me in the hallway. I can only imagine what Woody and Bob thought when I stormed out of the office in tears and hugged them. They tried to comfort me and said that looks didn't matter, and they would love me anyway. But then Bob's father came out of the office with a smile and told them what I had learned a minute later. The doctor who examined Vicky made a wrong diagnosis, and the ointment he prescribed couldn't have helped. That's why there were no improvements. But now everything will be fine, even the scars will disappear. So you're crying because you're happy? Stop it. You will be able to be a model again soon? Hell no. I worked so hard to become a student, and you guys have been so supportive. I want to become a doctor and help people. I realized that I had to take my studies seriously. Those ugly scars could have stayed on my face for the rest of my life because of that poor excuse for a doctor. I'd only been relying on my appearance and learned my lesson. But now, when I look in the mirror, I don't just see a pretty face. What would you choose? Being smart or beautiful?